Okay, so in our sequence, we've done parameters on canvas. That was our stamping. We're going to be doing functions with parameters and returns off canvas. Eventually, we'll move back on. So first, we need to talk about scope. All variables in our programs have a scope. They are a range within the program where they can be recognized, updated, and used. We have global variables. They can be used anywhere. Those are the variables we've been using. From the start of Software 2, you declared at the top, you initialized, you used. Those were global variables. Local variables can only be used and recognized within the function where they are declared. So if you wrote var inside one of your functions, like the setup or the draw, then it could only be used there. At a global example, this is what we've always done. You'll notice that the var was declared outside of any function at the very top. We initialized or used it in the setup, and then we again use it in the draw function. This means it's global. It can be used anywhere because everything knows what x is, and it's just happening outside of their functions. A local example is if I declare, I'm going to get my laser pointer, sorry. If I declare x, not just initialize it, but I use the word var inside of setup, and then I try and use x in the draw function, it doesn't work because var has only been made in setup and can only be used in setup, meaning it's completely hidden from the draw function. That's why we get this error, x is not defined. Another way of thinking about it is global variables are like celebrities. If you go up to anyone on the street and talked about one, like if I said, oh my God, have you heard of, why can't I think of a celebrity? Beyonce, they would say yes, right? But if I went up, local variables, they're like unique to your circle. If you tried to talk to anyone on the street about a person at Twills, they might not know who that person is. Only the people at Twills would. So if I said, oh my goodness, do you know Miss Mota? They might, but they might not. So I have an example for us. In this example, you can see that I have declared xpos at top. So this is global. I've initialized it, still global because it's referring to this. And I made a ellipse with it. But then, interestingly enough, outside of everything, I made a test function and has parameters x and y. And I tries to use y here. And you can see that when I try and run it, it says y is not defined in the current scope. And that's because I made y inside of my function, which means I cannot use it outside. Okay, so, I'm just trying to go to the next slide. So the bottom line is what happens in a function stays in the function. All the functions we've been making so far haven't involved changing values, but that might eventually happen. If we want a function to do something with a value, we need to return it, which is what we're going to see right now. Okay, I'm going to stop this video and make a new one for our actual coding bit.